Okay, hello. In the next video, today I would like to show how to use BashOperator on the Apache Airflow with WSL, so Windows subsystem for Linux. Also, in this episode, I will show the very short introduction to the XCom feature, which is the inter-process communication. But yeah, to start this, we must open terminal and go to the configured in the previous video Airflow directory Airflow setup. As you can see, we've got the Airflow env, so which is the separate Python environment just for the Airflow. To activate this environment, we must type source airflow bin and deactivate. And as we will use both the airflow scheduler and the airflow web server, we should repeat nearly the same steps in both terminals. And here with the cd airflow home, we can go to the directory on the Windows file system where we have the airflow configured. But why we have this airflow home variable? Because in the previous episode we have configured in this bash configuration file, we've got the airflow home, and yeah, that's why we can use it. Yes, and here we've got all the configuration file, airflowdb, and so on. And most important part, the folder directory with the DAX. Yeah, firstly, we must start the airflow scheduler, and in the second terminal, we can open the Airflow web server. If both of those processes are working, we can go to the web browser, and with the localhost 8080, we can access the Airflow web server. Here we must log in with our username and password, which we configured in the first video. Here we've got the two warnings. First, about not using the SQLite as DB in production and the sequential executor. So of course, SQLite and sequential execution are not proper for the production, but as this whole series is rather some kind of the tutorial, we should not care about that. Okay, as you can see, we've got a lot of DAX here. Only one is defined by me, but others are the provided by the Airflow default examples. And the question is why we can see them. So if we go to the terminal and we go to the Airflow home directory again, and here with the command ls, we can see that we've got the Airflow configuration file, so the Airflow CFG. We can open this with the Vim or any other editor, and here if we search for the load examples, we've got the line load example 2, and that's why we can see the examples sample DAX, right? If we have this set to the false and we do the restart of the DAX of the Airflow, then we will not be able to see them. But it's not important for this video. I just wanted to mention that as some kind of the hint. Okay, we can go to BashOperator. This is the operator which I have defined and which I have written before the recording. It has 4 tasks. Each task is the bash operator. It's one of the very basic, operator, but they are very useful. So here we've got the code. This code also will be available to the public repository. Link in the link in the description. Yes, and this is the first DAC created by me, and I hope there will be more in the next videos. The most important part about the folder, about the file with the DAC is of course the Airflow models DAC. So this is the main class which we import, and this is like the core of the DAC file. Here we use the construction with DAC as DAC, and the tasks are defined below or inside the with clause, and here we've got also the 4 tasks, so exactly the same as in the exactly as we see in the web server. And here we've got 2 symbols which stand for defining the order of execution, right? So namely we say that first we want to run the parent PFD, and then we want to run more or less simultaneously the save PFD with bash and XCOM push, and then after the XCOM push is finished, we want to run the XCOM pull task. And yeah, it is exactly as we can see in the web server in the graph view. All of those tasks are very basic and they are quite simple. They are just, as the example, to show the general idea and to like keep few concepts in the one file to make it easy for you to understand it and eventually use in your projects. Okay, so the first attribute, because we've got the task attribute, the task ID attribute, which have to be unique. That's not very important. It's just the name of the task, right? But then we've got the I will separate them with the spaces, the task and the execution order to make it more clear. And here we've got the bash command. The bash command basically says to Airflow that it should be executed. The string provided in the bash command should be executed as the comment in the bash. Okay, using manual on the bash, we can see what echo does. It does this comment only prints something to the standard output. The second command is the pvd, so we can go with the man pvd, and we see this, it just printed the current directory. Yeah, as this is of course not the quiz about the bash and the shell scripting, I will not tell about everything, but you can check this in documentation, or you can check all the comments via the using the manual and the comments. So yeah, the important part for us is only this. With the bash operator, we use the standard bash comments. And in the second task, so the save period with the bash, we've got the case that the semicolon allow us to put few different comments in the one line. So in the one attribute bash comment, we can divide the comments via semicolon, and they will be executed in the same task, so in the same bash operator. in this example, in this task here, I defining the path variable, which is the value, which is the value of the path is the current directory, and then I'm saving it to the from bash.txt. The folder out on the Windows file system is already created. I have here the old outputs. I deleted them, um, and yeah, the new outputs will be created when the duck will run. Okay, and we have one more important concept here. So in the task 3, so XCOM push and XCOM pull, we use something, the feature of the Apache Airflow, which is called XCOM. So it stands from the cross communication, as we can see in the official Airflow documentation. This is the a way of transferring small data between tasks, because of course in our use case we have all the executors on the same machine as the Airflow, but it's not necessarily the case on the production, so it can be useful, and we can access the variable from XCOM using the k for this variable or the task ID, for example, as in our case, yeah, because we do not have with the do XCOM push attribute on the bash operator, it's not possible to assign a k for the specific variable, and that's why we use the XCOM pull and we provide task IDs, because task IDs is unique and it's good enough for our use case. Okay. I will start the dock, and as we can see, all the tasks are executing, are running right now, and we can see in few seconds every task is finished, and in logs for the first we can see the pwd value is printed. So basically the echo command worked as it should, so that's good. Then we can see the new text files are created. We can open them with the Notepad++, and we can see the current directory in which bash operator was executed is saved. And this is, of course, either temporary, and this is on the Linux subsystem for Linux file system. Of course, it's not existing anymore because those are the temporary directories, but we have saved them with two possible ways. So which one way was just the standard bash operator command, the standard bash commands, and the second way was using the XCOM. I believe it's this use case of XCOM is pretty easy, and yeah, it can be helpful. Okay, so in the end of this video, I would like to say a few things about um, about getting the knowledge about Airflow itself. So, of course, we can look into the official Apache Airflow documentation, as you can see right now on the screen. We just go to the Apache Airflow docs, and we can, for example, write the bash operator, and we can see all the parameters, we can see the use cases, the kind of definitions, and so on. But what personally I like to do is go to because Apache Airflow is open source, so all the codes are publicly available on the GitHub, and we can go. I will also put the link in the description. We can go directly there to the operators folders and open the bash PI file, and here we've got the like in-code documentation, and also we can see from what bash operator for what it inherits and what, for example, the param CWD does. So I use this in my DAC, and in one task I go to the I mentioned the directory in the bash command, but on the other you can see we've got the CWD attribute taken and used as proposed, as recommended in the airflow documentation. So I strongly believe it's very good source of the knowledge, and I encourage everyone to look directly for the code available on the GitHub. And that will be everything. I hope it was useful for you.